Hi, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the Radiation Therapy info session. My name is Julie Alley. Before we get started, the British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam. With that, I would like to introduce Jake Kent, an instructor and clinical coordinator.
Thanks, Julie. So today we're really going to be going over a welcome and introductions, which we've briefly done. We're going to go over the overview of the program, and we're going to discuss some of the attributes of a prospective radiation therapist and what the job prospects are for radiation therapy. So we're going to put up a poll if everyone could answer here. Great. So the poll question is, what is radiation therapy? And we have a 100% response rate here. It's the treatment of cancer using high energy X-rays and photon beams. I'm glad no one picked treatment that makes you glow in the dark. So radiation therapy involves the use of high energy X-rays, just like the ones you get when you break a bone, just a lot higher energy. And they're aimed at specifically killing cancer cells. So radiation therapists use a lot of different treatment and imaging equipment to achieve this goal. A radiation therapist works with patients through their entire treatment journey. So we're not just there for part of it. When a patient is receiving radiation treatment, we're one of the people that they see every day. We're involved in the technical aspects of patient care. So we take X-ray images to make sure that the patient is aligned with the target. We're also involved with creating the optimal treatment plans. So radiation therapy is planned using very specialized software, and we're involved in using that software to make sure that the radiation is delivered where we want it to be, and normal tissues are spared during that process. So we use ionizing radiation sources and a lot of advanced technologies to deliver that treatment. Another part of our job is delivering supportive care to patients through this entire journey. So this involves explaining procedures, talking about side effects, how they're managed, and just providing general guidance during each of their treatment visits. So throughout the whole process of radiation treatment, radiation therapists aim to deliver safe, quality care. So why radiation therapy? Radiation therapy at BCIT will allow you to graduate as an entry to practice radiation therapist, eligible to sit the national certification exam. So to practice as a radiation therapist in Canada, you need to write an exam with our national certification body, the Canadian Association of Medical Radiation Technologists. This will allow you to work anywhere in Canada. And although this program is happening in BC, like I said, you can work anywhere in Canada once you pass that exam. BCIT offers a small class size, which is one of our biggest benefits, in my opinion. This means that we have expert faculty that are there to support students on a closer to one-to-one level. We have 4 members of the faculty in radiation therapy specifically. And we have expert members of the BCIT faculty that teach in as well in areas like physics and social science. So this small class size just means that we're able to give better support to students. It's not a 300-person class where we have more class sizes under 20 students. The program is set up to provide students with the opportunity to learn the theory of radiation therapy, apply that in the lab setting, and apply that in the clinical setting as well. So the clinical learning takes place at the BC Cancer provincial sites, and there are 6 of them. And during their time at BCIT, students will visit 2 of these sites. So there are Lower Mainland sites in Vancouver, Surrey, and Abbotsford, and there are placements that happen in Victoria, Prince George, and Kelowna. So one thing to note is the student's responsibility for relocating during these placements and costs. But the program really tries to ensure that students aren't going to be displaced, we say, from their home locations, their preferred site. So you indicate your preferences, and we make sure that we try to adhere to that as closely as we can. the profile of a radiation therapist. So a radiation therapist is someone who can work independently, but also works well in a team. That is because radiation therapists will work side by side with a large group of health professionals and other radiation therapists as well. So communication and working well as part of a team is a really big part of that. Radiation therapy is something that's continuously evolving. So being able to learn and adapt to new technologies is a really critical part of being a radiation therapist. In the last 5 years, there have been a lot of both hardware and software innovations in the field. And that just means we're a profession that's continuously learning and continuously growing. A radiation therapist or prospective radiation therapist should have a keen interest in sciences. This doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be, A+ across the board, but we hope that as a prospective radiation therapist, you're interested in things like biology and physics and anatomy. And maybe more importantly, you enjoy patient interaction. A big part of our job is providing care to patients. And that is a really, really big piece of being a radiation therapist, the patient interaction. So with that, we're hoping that we can find people with a high level of empathy, professional and ethical conduct as well. So a strong applicant to the radiation therapy program will have a solid academic background. We're also looking for volunteer commitment, and specifically in the healthcare setting. We have an asterisk here. We've also been accepting retail or similar experience where you've demonstrated an ability to work with members of the public, solve problems that arise, and effectively communicate. Ideally, the volunteer experience you have would be in the healthcare setting, but again, we'll accept similar experience. We're looking for people with people skills very generally, an ability to communicate effectively and work well as part of a team. Individuals who are empathetic and have strong communication skills. And as I previously mentioned, someone who enjoys continuous learning and has an aptitude for technology. During your time in the program, what does it take to be successful? Time management skills is a big part of your success in the program because of the sort of compressed time frame that we're operating in. There are a lot of demands on your time while you're in the program. So we have about 28 scheduled hours per week plus homework and assignments. And while you're in the clinical environment, that's a 40-hour-a-week commitment, which is typically going to be 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. So one thing that we would like to see someone in the radiation therapy demonstrate is a willingness to ask for help. So because of our faculty and the small class sizes, we're often able to provide additional support, answer questions, do anything we can to make sure that you're successful in your journey to become a radiation therapist. We're also hoping that people in the program demonstrate some initiative, teamwork, being able to support your classmates, and some critical thinking skills. You'll need to have some basic computer literacy, as well as excellent physical and emotional health. Our job is somewhat physically demanding, and due to the nature of the patients that we're supporting through their journey, sometimes it can be emotionally difficult. So being aware of the environment that you're going to be in is going to be really important, asking yourself before you apply to the program. So our program structure, our program focuses on curriculum specific to radiation therapy practice. So the classes that you're going to be taking will have a focus on what's actually happening in the clinic. Academic preparation is paired with simulation, and then that simulation goes into your clinical practice. All of that comes together and sets you up to demonstrate competence as a radiation therapist. Once you graduate from us, you'll be able to seek employment through BC Cancer, and there are 6 centers, as we outlined previously, as well as across Canada, once you've successfully completed your national certification exam. Right now is an excellent time to be thinking about radiation therapy because there's a critical shortage of radiation therapists across the province, and there are further plans for expansion of radiation therapy services, and that includes Cloverdale sites as well as additional satellite sites in Nanaimo as well. After you graduate from us, it's not just radiation therapy. There are a lot of continuing growth opportunities. And once you finish with your bachelor's degree from BCIT, it opens a lot of doors to other things that you may or may not be thinking about right now. There are supervisory roles in the radiation therapy department, managerial roles as well, if that's something you're interested in. Education and teaching is an avenue you could pursue. There are radiation therapists working specifically in research areas and clinical trials in cancer centers. And there's the opportunity to develop into specialty or advanced practice roles further down the line. We have a testimonial here from one of our students who just graduated. Tara started working as a clerk at the BC Cancer Abbotsford Radiation Therapy Department. And that's where she sort of became aware of the career of a radiation therapist. A lot of people don't come into this straight out of high school. There's a lot of very different journeys to becoming a radiation therapist. So I imagine some of you out there have a similar story where she was working in a job, met some radiation therapists, and one thing that stood out to her was that they all were very happy and took a lot of pride in the work that they do. Tara became interested in the program, and she just graduated, and now she's working as a radiation therapist in Abbotsford. One thing that she's mentioned down here is that she really appreciated that we have hands-on opportunities to apply what you learn in the classroom actually into the clinic and grow your skills before you graduate. So some information on admissions. Our program will start in September of 2024. The entrance requirements are posted on our website. What we're looking for is a few specific grade 12 classes, English, biology, and physics, and then a total of 30 credits at the undergraduate level. And those involve math, 6 credits of math, 6 credits of physics, English, general education, 6 credits of that as well. And the rest of the credits, a focus on biology is preferred, but that's not mandatory. So the CASPER has actually been removed. CASPER is not something that we require, but we do require a pre-entry assessment form to be filled out, as well as the additional forms required. You're going to apply through the BCIT website. And again, more detailed entrance requirement information is going to be available on that website. So currently our admissions model is a first qualified, first accepted model. So right now our admissions, our applications are open, and offers are going to be sent to the first people who are qualified, and that acceptance will be sent out shortly after that.
Thank you, Jake. Now, moving from the academics, I would like to let you know that BCIT is committed to supporting students in a holistic sense. We want you to succeed not only in your academics, but also outside of school. Here are some of the important student supports I'd like to mention. If you are Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding. BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. I would like to mention that we have a President's Entrance Award. Selection is based not only on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. Please contact financial aid. BCIT's Student Health Services is a health clinic located at the Burnaby campus. They provide medical care for current BCIT students year-round. We also have a counseling and student development department available to help you enhance your educational performance and maximize your success as a student at BCIT. And last but not least, our Recreation Services Department promotes, encourages, and enables the practice of physical well-being. We consider recreation an integral part of campus life and welcome all students to enjoy their services, which include showers, a fully functioning gym, a climbing wall, a racquetball court, and more. With that, here is the program head's email and the program assistant's email as well. So Maureen is the program head, Leanna is the assistant. You can email either of them if you have any questions. BCIT Radiation Therapy has their own Instagram account. We encourage you to follow them to see a unique student life perspective. As you can see, they have a lot of fun, they work hard, and they play hard. So please follow them on Instagram. The School of Health Sciences has their social media handles on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can learn more about BCIT with any of these options: to book a tour, spend a day, come to a big info session, attend another info session, or reach out to advising. I encourage you to take advantage of these opportunities that we have. Now, I'd like to open up the floor to any Q&A. I know we have some conversation going on in the chat, so I'll take a look at that. And if you can, unmute yourself and go ahead and just ask. Rubia, if you're debating between programs at BCIT, can you apply to multiple programs or just one?
So I'll just quickly comment on that. Unfortunately, at this time, BCIT only permits one active application. In some cases, students have the opportunity to apply to a program, be reviewed for it, potentially be considered for it, and if they're not selected or incomplete or something doesn't work out or they simply want to change that application, they can inquire with the admission department about potentially transferring that application. And depending on the circumstances, they may permit that, or they may ask the individual to withdraw their application and submit a new application.
Thank you, Jesse. For Jake, do you wear a uniform during class?
No, the students don't wear a uniform during class. During the clinical placement, we do require that students wear scrubs and wear a name tag to identify themselves.
Thank you. And from Navpreet, what type of courses are considered to be general education, liberal arts?
I don't know if that was meant for me to comment on or Jake, but liberal arts can be oftentimes specific to general studies, or there's definitely more documentation on the BCIT website of what BCIT offers for liberal studies that might help to clarify that further. But certain programs at BCIT within the health realm, nursing in particular, has an outline of what they would accept for general education. And certainly where necessary, someone like Lorraine as the program head may need to clarify a bit further for you if you've got a course that you're wondering if it falls within that category.
Thank you, Jesse. If I miss a question, please let me know. I'm just going through in the order. Are all classes in the same building?
Not all classes are in the same building. A lot of our classes are going to be in that brand new health science building that you see behind Julie and I in the background. But some of our courses are spread in different computer labs across campus or different facilities across campus. It's all going to be on the Burnaby campus, though.
Is there a list of approved university courses that meet the math and physics requirements for the program?
Unfortunately, I believe the department has left this quite open. So from their standards, as long as a course is from a recognized institution, and it's a 3-credit course that is in the math realm or the specific science, then generally I believe they would be accepted. Otherwise, if you do still need a further clarification, I would definitely recommend reaching out to Lorraine as the program head to clarify specifically.
Thank you, Jesse. If someone completed undergraduate and postgraduate studies abroad, are they eligible to apply for RT?
There are details of international credit assessments and previous experience assessments that you can find on the BCIT website. I'm not sure if Jesse has any more information about the credential assessment.
Yeah, so they're definitely they have outlined the need for the more detailed, comprehensive evaluation from either the service that's located at BCIT for International Credential Evaluation Service, or potentially one of the other Canadian services, as long as detailed report can be provided that would be sufficient for the purposes of BCIT. And the International Credential Evaluation Service Department can potentially clarify if that report from the other agency is equivalent to theirs with respect to the detail that's necessary. So that's certainly an option.
Thank you, Jesse. How is this program similar or different compared to the nuclear medicine technology job?
Similar in the fact that we both work in hospitals, but that might be about where the similarities end. The careers that you'll end up with are very different. So radiation therapists use X-rays and linear accelerators, which is a big machine that uses X-rays to treat cancer. And nuclear medicine technologists, which is a 2-year diploma program at BCIT, they use radioactivity for specific types of imaging. So the careers are a little bit different, and the way to get there is a little bit different.
I have a direct question here. Do you think someone with a nursing background would be a good candidate for this program?
Absolutely, yeah. Someone with a background in healthcare in general, with an interest in helping patients, and with an interest in science, those are all really good qualities for someone entering the program.
Thank you. What is the current starting and max salary?
So currently, I looked this up today because I knew this would be a question. It's a good question. We start at $48 an hour, which is about $92,000 a year, and that goes up to $61 an hour on the PHSA website. So that's about 117, and that doesn't include opportunities for growth. So if you become a clinical educator or a manager or a supervisor, there's additional increases available there as well.
Thank you. Is there tuition reimbursement for this program similar to other health sciences program at BCIT, $2K per year? To this person, maybe you want to clarify and send me a message about where this tuition reimbursement may have been coming from or what you're regarding. So I think we'll jump back to that question when we get more clarity and move on to, is there a regional preference for BCIT students for admission?
There are no regional preferences at this time, but we accept people from across the province and across the country.
How many students are admitted into the program?
We have 20 seats for the upcoming intake. So 20.
And what is the average GPA of those students?
That's not information I would have.
So, Julie, I did respond to the GPA portion of the question. I just was scrambling to find the total number of seats for the program. So, because this program does not admit students on a competitive basis, GPA does not factor in. Students need to apply, proving the minimum academic grade that's outlined on the program page.
I see that in the chat. Thank you, Jesse. Are there any missed questions?
So I believe Gurkarat sent me a direct message. I'm sorry, I just noticed that. With respect to having the ability to prove all the requirements except for English, which would be finished in mid-April from the sounds of it, when would be the best time to apply? Just worrying about the seats being filled. So I believe you can proceed with the pre-entry assessment if you happen to be taking an upgrading course specific to English or a course that would be proving the English requirement. I believe you'd potentially be able to provide a midterm grade to speed things up with respect to applying or submitting the pre-entry assessment. And then otherwise, there's always that ability to reach out to Lorraine as the program head just to clarify further with her as well. It is, I believe, just to further comment on that, I believe the program presently may have already accepted for 3/4 of the seats presently. So there's only maybe about a handful of seats presently that are unoccupied. So the sooner that people have the ability to submit their application, certainly the better.
There's a question in the chat there from Elizabeth. Yeah, it's only one intake per year, and that's in September.
And a reminder to everyone that you will receive a copy of the slide deck in an email as well as a link to the recording. But for those asking, here is Lorraine's email.
And just as Julie puts that up, just quickly answer with respect to credits expiring. There are certain programs at BCIT that will outline a recency requirement for certain subject matter. I do not believe that this program area has. So there's not necessarily a 5-year time frame associated with use of credits from another school. But again, it never hurts to touch base with the department, with Lorraine, just to see if she has any concerns, if there might be certain subject matter that she would suggest taking an additional course to refresh the material, even if it's not a part of the application process. You know, if you've got anatomy and physiology from 15 years ago or a biology course that she felt might be beneficial, she might suggest considering retaking that or taking another course presently, just to make sure those competencies are up to date.
I have another direct question. I understand the program entrance requirements are very likely to change. Heard from a program advisor to a diploma program, and direct from high school applicants will be able to apply starting September 2025. Can you please confirm?
That is not the case at the moment. There were talks with the province of how we can increase the number of people, that radiation therapists that were able to get into the workforce. And there were options discussed, but at this time, there are no plans to switch the current degree model or the current time frame for that degree.
Julie, someone was just asking if Lorraine's contact information could be put back on the screen. I will note it is noted on the program page within the faculty advisors and staff section, along with Jake's contact information. But I'm assuming primarily Lorraine would be the main contact for the program.
Yeah, not that I don't want your emails, but Lorraine will be the most helpful for sure. Rachel has a question: are there plans to expand the program to other places? The only thing that would be offered in Kelowna would be at least 2 of your clinical placements, or 2 of those clinical placements. The program is going to be delivered on campus here in Burnaby, and there are no plans at this time for delivering the program in other parts of the province.
I have a question. Can I send an advisor my transcripts so we can review if the requirements are met? I completed my psychology degree 2 years ago, but don't know in what realm some of these courses would fall.
So I'll comment on that. The part of the reason why a program area such as this has a pre-entry assessment process is specific to that purpose, is to determine if there is anything outstanding or if there's additional courses that they would recommend attending. And so it'd be best to proceed with that pre-entry assessment process to get that feedback. Within program advising, we don't typically do a pre-assessment process for programs.
If accepted into the program, would we have the option to defer to the following year?
I think generally, for most programs, there's not that option. You'd be asked to withdraw your application and submit a new one for the following year. There could be a rare case where the department is able to accommodate. So again, it would be something that Lorraine would maybe have to clarify if she's ever been able to do that in the past and arrange that with the admissions department, or if unfortunately there'd be the need to withdraw and submit a new application the following year.
Okay, well, there's another one. How long does it take for the pre-entry assessments to be assessed?
And again, yeah, the pre-entry assessment is taking place with Lorraine. So unfortunately, I'm not entirely familiar with what her processing time frame is associated with that. I suspect it might be something like 3 to 5 business days, but I could be mistaken by that. So definitely best to double check with her.
There is one in the chat. How is the work-life balance? This one I can definitely handle. The work-life balance is excellent. That's one of the things that isn't talked about enough, I think. We work Monday to Friday, 8 to 4, which is somewhat unique for health careers. So you have your weekends to yourself, and you're able to leave your work at work, so to speak. There's not emails and texts and all of that other stuff that goes along with some jobs. So I think the work-life balance in that respect is excellent as a radiation therapist.
Do you recommend a high school student take a 1-year science program at any college or university right after graduating and then apply? once they have the entrance requirements. Is it possible to meet the entrance requirements at BCIT? What is recommended?
The recommendation at this time is to do it at another post-secondary institution. And then once you have those courses completed that meet the entrance requirements, then you can apply to the program.
And I concur with Jake. Because BCIT doesn't offer general studies, most of the programs at BCIT are very focused towards a specific industry and graduate outcomes to work in that industry. So it's not typically as well aligned to proceed into one of the BCIT programs and then transition over. So completing those studies externally is definitely the typical route.
Is there any info on when the Nanaimo Center is planned to open?
No, not at this time. We're still in the planning phases of both Nanaimo and Cloverdale, but it's anticipated that we should have more information somewhere 5 years down the line. So short answer, not quite yet.
Thank you. All right, well then with that, I'd like to thank Jake, our presenter for this evening, and Jesse, our program advisor, and all of you for taking the time to attend this session. We look forward to hearing from you in the future.